What you see here is the collection of one each of the 5 basic action types that we use in training people through basic hunter education. This is a gun that's not a gun. It will not go bang. You cannot make it go bang. This is the brainchild of a team of people through the International Hunter Education Association and the Remington Outdoor Foundation. Now obviously you can see this is not a Remington if you know firearms at all. This happens to be a lever action Marlin. What they did was they took these guns and based on the standards that we set, created a scenario where we could use these in a building, inside a classroom, anywhere, and not have to worry about having an unwanted discharge. It is the single finest training aid ever developed for hunter education since its inception. This happens to be the lever action. You can see that we have blaze orange stocks, and that's on all of our guns. They're all blaze orange. And at great distances, I can see these firearms. So if I'm on the range and I look across the range and I see a blaze orange stock on the gun like this, I know it's a safe gun, that nothing tragic is going to happen. I may be upset if someone points the muzzle in the wrong direction or if they put their finger inside the trigger guard when they're not supposed to, but no one's going to get hurt. In addition to that, we have on the receiver or the barrel the words printed non-functional gun. So if you take these into a school as an example, these aren't guns, but still we will get permission before we take them into a school. Make sure you take and show these to the school administrator or teacher and say these are non-functional firearms. You can use dummy ammunition and cycle them just like you would any other action. Cycle the actions back and forth so students can practice loading and unloading safely. You can actually clean these just like you would clean any firearm. But because we know maintenance is an issue with some firearms, what we had done was, you can see this isn't gunmetal blue, it's a dull black color. These have all been powder coated. So that when the little sweaty palms are touching these guns because they're nervous and handling them, we don't have to worry about having to wipe them off when we're done. On one side of the stocks, we have the Remington Outdoor Foundation logo. On the other side of the stocks, we have the International Hunter Education Association logo. This happens to be the lever action. This one is a pump action. This is how they function. This one also happens to be a youth model. When we designed this set, we have both adult and youth models. 50% of our graduates today in hunter education are age 18 and older, so it's not just about the kids anymore. We have the semi-auto, which means for every pull of the trigger, the gun goes bang. But if you just pull the trigger and hold it back, it stops. You have to release the trigger and pull it again in order for it to cycle. So if you had a round in the chamber, it would go bang if you pulled the trigger, and then it would come back, it would load another round, you'd have to pull the trigger again, hence it's called semi-automatic. That one happens to be an adult version. We have a bolt action, 22 rifle. We only have these in 22, 30-30, 20 gauge, and 12 gauge. And what that will do for us in the long run is, instead of having to buy dummy ammunition in every caliber and gauge made, we'll only need 12 gauge, 20 gauge, 30-30, and 22. Now a lot of people know that on these 22 rifles, in order to get the bolt out, all you have to do on most of them is pull the trigger and pull the bolt out. Well, we thought of that. In order to make these safe so they can never be made to fire, you cannot get this bolt out. It's been welded in such a way you can't do that. And on the shotguns, it's the same thing. We welded the barrels to the receiver, so you can't get the bolt out and replace it. Firing pins have been cut, the bolt faces have been welded, so even if there was a live round in the gun, it still would not go off. And this one is the brake or hinge action, and this one is in the youth model as well. This is a very popular firearm for a lot of people to buy their youngsters when they first start out.